What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the 2021 Subaru WRX. Huge shout out and thank you to Carolina Auto Direct for providing this WRX for today's video. They have a huge selection of pre-owned cars just like this, so definitely check them out. And the model that we're looking at today is a premium trim level, finished off in WR Blue Pearl, and had an original MSRP around $32,000. Underneath the hood, the WRX utilizes a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder boxer engine. This pumps out 268 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. It's paired to a 6-speed manual transmission and sends the power to all 4 wheels through the all-wheel drive system. And with a curb weight around 3,300 pounds, you can expect 0 to 60 in the mid-5 seconds and a top speed at 155 miles per hour. This car also runs on a 16-gallon fuel tank and can achieve 20 miles per gallon in the city and 27 out on the highway. The overall length is 180.9 inches with wheelbase at 104.3, width is 70.7, and height is 58.1 inches. If we take a look at the styling now with the WRX, it has a nice, subtle, aggressive design. We get chrome headlights with halogen projector beams, and you can see the halogen high beams in the center. They have a nice design and they fit very well to the front bumper. You get the Subaru logo up front with gloss black all around the front grille, and then a large lower grille to allow cooling to the radiators. You can see all the black trim down below to give it a more muscular appearance. And then on the farther sides of the front bumper, you get more of that black trim with your turn signals as well as halogen fog lights. And then looking at the hood, you'll see a massive hood scoop on top that leads cool air to the top mounted intercooler to keep those air intake temperatures down. There's a lot of sharp lines all around the hood to add to the aggression, and it all blends seamlessly up front to give it a nice rally-inspired design. And then moving to the side profile, we get a set of 18-inch wheels in all 4 corners, finished off in a metallic gray. They're a split 5-spoke design and contrast very well against this blue. I love the overall proportions of the side profile. It looks very proportional front and back, and I love all the sharp lines. You can see the really sharp line around the front wheel arch to give it a wider appearance, and you have a matching one in back. There's also a sharp line going through the center portion of the doors to help give this a wide, sharp look, and you can see how the WRX logo on the front fender has a line that goes down it with a nice trim piece underneath. These side skirts bulge outward to help give it that aggressive design, and I love all the sharp lines you'll see. We get a set of body color door handles and body color mirror caps, and then all black trim around the windows. This also features a sunroof up top with the shark fin antenna, and I really love how everything comes together in the side profile. And then moving in back, we get a set of taillights that have some nice contours that match the bodywork. They're finished off in red and have a clear portion in the center for the reverse lights and the turn signals. We get a lip spoiler on the trunk, finished off in the blue, and your Subaru logo right in the center. There's a standard backup camera over on the left, then you can see Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive, and then WRX to the right side. Down below, you'll see more sharp lines in the bumper, and then a massive black diffuser with some fins in the center, and then a dual quad-tipped exhaust system. So there's a good look at the exterior and some of the performance specifications for the WRX. Definitely a really cool car, especially in this blue color. We have Subaru's key fob, the lock button is up top, and the unlock button is actually the Subaru logo. But keeping the key fob in my pocket, it does have a smart key. Just grabbing the door handle, it'll automatically unlock, and we can check out this interior. This WRX features a full black interior with fabric along the seats and red stitching. If we go ahead and take a look at the door panel now, finished off all in black, we get the red stitching along the smooth leather for the trim as well as the armrest, and then we get your grab panel up in front of that, all 4 of the window controls, mirror controls, and then a chrome colored release handle. We have storage down below that, and then moving inside, we have all the manual controls for the seat on this left side with the red stitching. You can see the 2-tone fabric design that has a pretty cool look, and you get some decent sized bolsters. We also have the bar up front to slide this forwards and back. Then moving our way up the seats, you can see all the different textures, stitching along the headrest, and then a black flat bottom leather wrapped steering wheel with red stitching. And then now inside the WRX, keeping my foot on the brake and the clutch, we can go ahead and fire it up. You can see we have an analog display for the gauge cluster, we have the speedometer and fuel over on the right, and then the tach and engine temperature to the left. We have a digital readout for your speedometer right in the center, as well as the odometer and an MPG gauge. And if I tap the icons over on the steering wheel, I can actually scroll through just a few things. Scrolling up, you can see a lap timer. We also have nothing. And then you can hold down the information button and this will go into a different menu with a few different things on here. And then taking a look at the steering wheel, we have the Subaru logo right in the center, cruise control over on the right side, and then Bluetooth and audio controls to the left. We have the turn signal stalk and all the headlight controls to the left, and then wiper blades over on this right stalk. And then on the left side of the steering wheel now, we have some carbon fiber look design, interior dimming switches, trunk release, as well as traction control. Then you can see one of the air vents and then all of the black trim running across the dashboard. I really like how this has this extra screen right in the center. You can control it using this icon right here. Looking in this, you can see a boost gauge. We also have an acceleration percentage. If I tap the gas, you can see it bump up. And then by just toggling this up and down, you can see it go through different screens. We have average MPG, acceleration. You can also continue up. We have an icon for the degrees of steering and things like that. Continuing through this, we have more MPG and range. We have a clock. You can hold down the enter icon and it'll go through a new screen now. You can adjust a lot of different things. So pretty cool to see what you have in this car. And then all of your climate controls will come up on that screen as well using these down here. We have temperature and then your fan speed. And then taking a look back at that screen, you can see how the temperature will change, fan speed, and then your mode as well. Then we have two air vents and hazards, and then moving to the infotainment screen. This is touch screen with touch sensitive buttons on the left and the right side. Just tapping the home icon, you can see what we have going on. If you had more menus, they would add to the different pages. We have the shortcut up here for home as well. Then we have your apps icon you can go and do, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. We have radio icons and things like that. So pretty useful in here, not too many features going on though. And then taking a look at the shifter now, if I pull this up and go all the way down into reverse, your standard backup camera will come up with a pretty HD view. And then we have three different guidelines with different colors. We can go ahead and pop it back into neutral. All the climate controls are underneath that like we just saw. Then we have a little bit of storage down below with a 12 volt. The actual shifter is finished off in leather and you get your shift pattern right on top with the STI logo. We have leather shift boot and red stitching with WRX, and then a manual parking brake, two different cup holders, as well as the heated seat controls behind that. We can open up the center console. We get a little bit of space in here with USB ports. And then over on the right, the glove box is a pretty good size as you would expect. We get more of that carbon fiber look design. And then one last look at the interior, pretty cool design. We have some nice stitching and everything. So it looks nice and sporty for being more of a basic car and not quite the STI. And then moving to the rear seat space, if I go ahead and open up the door panel is finished off just like we saw up front, even with the red stitching. And the back seats have the same fabric with all the stitching. It's a 3-seater bench row back here. And then there's handles you can pull on the top to pop these open and fold them down out of the way to access the trunk. And then sitting now in the back of this WRX, it's a little bit tight back here. This isn't the biggest sedan out there. I'm 5'11" sitting here. I have the driver's seat set at my height. My knees have a few inches and my feet are fitting nicely under it. You can tell it's not the biggest and most roomy car, but of course it is good for a pinch if you need people back here. In the center, we do get two cup holders and an armrest that you can fold up and out of the way. And you do get quite a lot of glass back here to make it pretty roomy. And then you have grab handles up top and then dome lights up top as well. And then to take a look at the storage space, you have a button on the key fob, and there also is one in back right here, which is nice to see on a practical car like this. Taking a look at the trunk now, it's pretty large in here and pretty squared off with a pretty tall ceiling, so you could fit a ton of items, definitely making a WRX super practical. And with the handles popped on the backs of the seats, you can see just how much more storage space we have in the back of the WRX. The seats do fold down nice and flat, and the opening to the trunk is massive. So definitely a practical family sporty sedan. Alright guys, so we are setting off now in the Subaru WRX. Now the other weekend I actually drove my friend's WRX STI and we talked a lot about how the two compare, the WRX versus the STI version. My friend had a WRX and then sold it, and a year later picked up the STI. So I have a pretty good understanding of what these cars are like after, of course, just driving the STI. So the biggest thing you're going to notice with a WRX, it's basically a sporty version of kind of an economy car. It's more of a normal, it's a Subaru Impreza basically. However, we get the bigger engine, the more power to it. and it's of course a little bit more sporty. The interior wise is pretty basic. It's not quite on the performance level of the STI. With an STI you get more power from the engine, you get controls for the differential, you get drive modes, you get Brembo brakes, and it is definitely a step up in performance. With this car, you can really drive it like just a normal daily, and if you're not getting on it, you're looking at like 30 miles per gallon realistically. So it's a pretty efficient car. You have good comfort, pretty basic, like I said, with the manual controls for this seat and you know, just normal controls. But overall, this is a pretty comfortable car to use as your daily. You have amazing visibility, huge windshield. I love all the glass on the side, over your left and right shoulder. You pretty much have no blind spots in one of these cars, and you have enough technology to make this something that's up to date with the screen, the sunroof, you know, the normal cruise control, Bluetooth, things like that. So it's a nice blend of both of them. If you do really want the enthusiast side of it, the real performance, the STI is definitely a good step up, especially if you take one of these on mountain road trips. Those Brembo brakes are going to do a lot when you are really abusing them. This car kind of just has basic brakes to them. But I say though, man, these cars do a great job with the low end power, and this one has an aftermarket intake on it, so you can hear that turbo a lot, which I love. But it's nice how you really do get some good power to it. It doesn't have much top end, so up to redline, it's not crazy, you know, powerful or anything, but it's a car around town, the usable torque. It is so easy to drive this, and you're always got some power to it, even in the low RPM. At least 3,000 RPM, you can feel it kick in. Again, it's not the craziest, most powerful car out there, but it's nice how well-rounded the WRX is. And even for more normal things like the road noise and stuff like that, it's actually pretty well insulated, which I wasn't actually expecting. It's been a while since I've driven just the WRX, and I'm on a pretty smooth road though. Aside from hearing the turbo, it's a pretty comfortable car. Suspension does a good job. There is a little bit of body roll to it, but nonetheless, it's got to kind of go back and forth between being comfortable and yet still sporty, because it's not just a basic sedan. It does have the performance to it. The shifter and everything, very lightweight clutch, pretty easy to shift the gears. Getting up to some speed now, just giving it half throttle. It revs very quick. So it's nice and peppy. I mean, it'll get up to speed without thinking too much. I like the blend. I think Subaru did a really good job, and it's nice how they've offered different trim levels. It's nice how you can get just a basic Subaru Impreza. I don't know if they even make the Impreza technically anymore, but you can just get a basic sedan from them. You can get the WRX to get the sporty aspects if you're really using this as a normal daily commuter car, but then you can tone it up another notch and get the STI, where you really get some high performance aspects, which is a really cool blend. So then switching over to the POV now. It certainly makes some good noises with some mods, and this is what this car really shines at. It's a tuner car for sure, and you can do tuning to it, intake, exhaust, and really upgrade one of these cars to make it even better than factory. This one, 99% factory. Nonetheless though, pretty good blend, like I said. Visibility, like I talked about earlier, really good view out the windshield, and it's nice how with all this glass, it makes it even better for a daily, just because you have no blind spots. You can literally drive this anywhere in any type of traffic, and it's just super usable, which is kind of why they've done this car the way they did it. And then getting back up to some speed from third gear. Pulls pretty good, up to 60. I'd say it's got a lot of good mid-range power to it. And then if I do hit the brakes, they work adequately well. You will notice if you're really performance driving this, they're not gonna hold up too well compared to the Brembos. And then as far as use of materials, I do like the leather on the steering wheel and the shift knob. Things that you touch feel pretty nice. The plastic in it, while pretty much everything is plastic, they also do feel pretty high quality. So I think you still get a nice blend of a higher quality car. It's not just like a basic cheap car, but you get the performance and then the nice quality in it as well. So I like that aspect with the WRX. As far as the handling, now they're taking a faster turn. Pretty solid and pretty composed. And like I said, that's what this car is about. It's about that normal daily driver, but it has these sporty aspects where you can have some fun on the back roads and do things like that. The higher performance driving, of course the STI is going to shine, but this car really does give you that really good balance. And I'll have those two videos linked below and at the end of this video, the WRX and then the STI, because we filmed a pretty good owner's review of these two cars. So if you're interested in one of these cars, definitely check them out. So one last acceleration, getting back up to some speed, and then we will call it a day. First gear is very short feeling. Some good noises for sure. So I think that is then it for the 2021 Subaru WRX. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, and then definitely check out Carolina Auto Direct. They have a pretty awesome selection of pre-owned cars that are nearly brand new like this WRX, so definitely check them out as well. Links down below. So that's it guys, I will see you in the next video.